A new milestone is shaking up the Spotify streaming world, and Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga are right at the center of it. One song has just reached an extraordinary 3.9 billion streams, and the speed at which it got there is what makes this achievement so remarkable. Die With a Smile has now become one of the fastest songs in Spotify history to reach 3.9 billion streams, taking approximately 727 days to reach the massive milestone. And when you compare that number with some of the biggest streaming giants of the modern era, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. Before we break down the entire top 5, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment telling us which song you believe is the greatest Spotify streaming hit of all time. Is it Die With a Smile? Birds of a Feather? As It Was? Or one of the legendary tracks that changed the history of streaming? Because the numbers tell a fascinating story. At number 5 is Starboy by The Weeknd featuring Daft Punk. The song took approximately 1,758 days to reach 3.9 billion streams on Spotify. That is an enormous achievement by any standard. Released in 2016, Starboy became one of The Weeknd's defining global hits, combining futuristic production, a powerful hook, and the unmistakable sound of Daft Punk. For years, Starboy has remained one of the most recognizable songs on Spotify. It survived changing music trends, new generations of listeners, and an increasingly competitive streaming environment. And that is what makes the current streaming race so fascinating. Every stream represents a listener pressing play, and billions of streams mean billions of moments in people's lives. At number 4 is Blinding Lights, another record-breaking hit from The Weeknd. The song took approximately 1,459 days to reach 3.9 billion streams. Blinding Lights is more than just a successful single. It became a global cultural phenomenon. Its retro-inspired production, instantly recognizable opening, and enormous popularity across streaming platforms helped transform the track into one of the most successful songs of the 21st century. The song dominated charts, playlists, social media, radio, and short-form video platforms. It became a soundtrack for an entire era. And while Starboy needed nearly 1,800 days to reach this level, Blinding Lights achieved the same 3.9 billion stream milestone significantly faster. But then the numbers become even more surprising. At number 3 is As It Was by Harry Styles. The song reached approximately 3.9 billion Spotify streams in around 1,161 days. That is a remarkable pace. As It Was arrived during a period when Harry Styles had already established himself as one of the biggest solo artists in the world. But the scale of the song's streaming performance pushed his popularity to another level. Its opening synth, emotional lyrics, distinctive vocal delivery, and highly recognizable chorus helped make As It Was one of the biggest streaming songs of its generation. And once again, Spotify's numbers demonstrate how dramatically the music industry has changed. A song can be released, become a global hit, dominate playlists, and continue gaining hundreds of millions of streams long after its original release period. But now comes number 2. And this is where the race gets extremely interesting. At number 2 is Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. The song reached approximately 3.9 billion Spotify streams in around 813 days. Think about that for a moment. More than 3.9 billion streams in just over 2 years. That is an extraordinary level of global listener engagement. Billie Eilish has built a unique relationship with streaming audiences, and Birds of a Feather became one of the most important songs in her catalog. Its emotional atmosphere, intimate vocals, and highly replayable production gave it enormous staying power. The track did not simply explode and disappear, continued to accumulate streams. And that is one of the most important factors in modern Spotify success. A song needs more than a massive first week. It needs longevity. It needs playlist presence. It needs social media momentum. It needs to remain emotionally relevant long after release. Birds of a Feather demonstrated all of those qualities. But even that incredible performance is not number 1. Because the fastest song on this list reached 3.9 billion streams even quicker. At number 1 is Die With a Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga. approximately 727 days. That is the number that has captured attention across the Spotify streaming landscape. Die with a Smile reached the 3.9 billion stream mark in roughly 727 days, putting Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga at the top of this particular race. And this is where the story becomes bigger than a simple Spotify milestone. The song represents the meeting of two globally recognized artists with enormous catalogs, powerful fan bases, and decades of musical influence combined into one record. Bruno Mars is known for his ability to move between pop, soul, R&B, funk, and classic songwriting traditions. Lady Gaga has built a career across pop, dance, jazz, film, television, and live performance. Together, their voices created a collaboration that immediately attracted worldwide attention. But the most important question is not simply how many streams Die with a Smile has. The real question is why it has been able to grow so quickly. The answer begins with the song itself. Die with a Smile has a classic emotional structure. It feels familiar without sounding outdated. The vocal performances are powerful but controlled. The melody is easy to remember, while the emotional message gives listeners a reason to return. That combination is extremely valuable in the streaming era. A song can go viral for a few weeks, but a song that continues to generate streams for hundreds of days is something completely different. That suggests sustained demand. And sustained demand is exactly what Spotify numbers are beginning to reveal. When Die with a Smile is compared directly with the other 4 songs on this list, the difference becomes striking. Starboy needed approximately 1,758 days. Blinding Lights needed approximately 1,459 days. As It Was needed approximately 1,161 days. Birds of a Feather needed approximately 813 days. And Die with a Smile reached the same 3.9 billion stream milestone in approximately 727 days. The gap between number 1 and number 2 may look relatively small. But in the world of Spotify streaming, even a difference of several months represents an enormous number of potential plays. And that is what makes this achievement so impressive. Now, here is the part that deserves even more attention. The Spotify streaming race is changing rapidly. Every year, billions of streams become more common for the biggest global artists. But reaching billions quickly remains incredibly difficult. Why? Because Spotify operates on scale. A song needs listeners from multiple countries. It needs consistent playlist exposure. It needs fans who return repeatedly. It needs discovery from new audiences. And most importantly, it needs staying power. This is why the fastest songs to reach major streaming milestones are so important. They reveal which tracks are not only popular, but also deeply embedded in global listening habits. And Die with a Smile has clearly demonstrated extraordinary momentum. Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga are not simply benefiting from their individual fan bases. The collaboration created a crossover effect. Fans of Bruno Mars discovered Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga fans discovered Bruno Mars. Pop listeners joined R&B listeners. Casual listeners became repeat listeners. And the song continued to travel across generations. That cross-audience appeal is one of the strongest forces behind massive streaming records. There is another fascinating element here. Spotify is increasingly becoming one of the most important measurements of a song's cultural longevity. Billboard charts measure weekly performance. Radio measures airplay. Album sales measure purchases. But streaming can continue almost indefinitely. A listener can discover a song 5 years after its release and contribute to its total. That means the biggest Spotify songs can continue building their legacy long after their original chart runs have ended. And Die with a Smile is already demonstrating the potential to become one of those long-lasting records. The song's performance also puts Bruno Mars in an increasingly remarkable position within Spotify history. His catalog has already produced multiple songs with billions of streams, and his ability to generate massive numbers across different eras demonstrates something important. Bruno Mars is not dependent on one musical moment. His songs continue to attract listeners. His catalog continues to be discovered. And when a new release arrives, the attention surrounding his music can become enormous. Lady Gaga brings another layer to the story. Her career has crossed multiple generations of pop culture. From massive pop hits to film soundtracks, awards, live performances, and collaborations, Gaga has remained one of the most recognizable artists in contemporary music. So when two artists with that level of global recognition release a collaboration, the streaming potential becomes enormous. But the numbers still have to prove themselves. And 3.9 billion streams is an extraordinary proof point. The most fascinating part may be what happens next. Because 3.9 billion is not the end of the Spotify journey. The next major question is how quickly Die with a Smile can continue climbing toward the next billion stream milestone. Can it reach 4 billion? How long will it take? Can it eventually challenge the biggest streaming songs ever recorded? And perhaps even more importantly, can the song maintain its daily streaming momentum as new releases enter the market? Those questions remain open, but the trajectory is already clear. The song has established itself as one of the fastest-growing billion stream records in Spotify history, and that achievement places Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga in an elite category. Now, take a step back and look at the entire top 5 again. The Weeknd and Daft Punk with Starboy. The Weeknd again with Blinding Lights. Harry Styles with As It Was. Billie Eilish with Birds of a Feather. And Bruno Mars with Lady Gaga on Die with a Smile. These are not random songs. They are some of the defining streaming records of the modern era. Each one represents a different moment in pop music. Each one has a different sound. Each one has a different audience. But they share one thing. People keep pressing play. And in the streaming era, that may be the most powerful form of success. The biggest surprise is that Die with a Smile is competing with songs that have had years to build their streaming totals. Yet Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga have moved into the top position on this particular 3.9 billion stream speed ranking in approximately 727 days. That is what makes the milestone so remarkable. It is not simply about reaching 3.9 billion. It is about how quickly the song got there. And that distinction matters. A song can eventually reach billions because it has been available for many years. But reaching billions at extraordinary speed suggests something different. It suggests acceleration. It suggests global demand. It suggests repeat listening. And it suggests that the song has become part of the everyday soundtrack for millions of people around the world. For Bruno Mars, this is another major chapter in a career filled with streaming milestones, chart achievements, awards, and global performances. For Lady Gaga, it adds another remarkable streaming achievement to an already legendary catalog. And for Spotify, it demonstrates just how quickly a modern hit can accumulate numbers that once seemed almost impossible. Just a few years ago, billions of streams sounded like an unreachable number reserved for the biggest songs in history. Now, the competition is moving faster. The next generation of global hits is arriving with enormous streaming power. And the question is no longer whether a song can reach 1 billion. The question is how quickly it can reach 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, and beyond. That is the new streaming era. And right now, Die with a Smile is one of its biggest stories. Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga have officially entered another extraordinary chapter in Spotify history, with Die with a Smile standing at the top of this 3.9 billion stream speed ranking. But remember, streaming records are constantly evolving. One new global hit can change the ranking. One viral moment can accelerate a song by millions of streams. One unforgettable performance can introduce a track to an entirely new audience. And that means this list may not stay the same forever. For now, however, the numbers tell a powerful story. 727 days, 813 days, 1,161 days, 1,459 days, 1,758 days, 5 massive songs, 5 different journeys, 1 incredible streaming milestone. And at the top, Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga with Die with a Smile. If you are a Bruno Mars fan, a Lady Gaga fan, a Billie Eilish fan, a Harry Styles fan, or the Weeknd fan, the streaming battle is far from over. Because every day, every playlist, every replay, and every new listener can change the numbers. And the next record could already be on its way. So now the question goes to you. Which song deserves the title of the greatest Spotify streaming hit of this generation? Is it Die with a Smile? Birds of a Feather? As It Was? Blinding Lights? Or Starboy? Drop your answer in the comments and tell us why. And if you want more breaking music news, Spotify streaming milestones, Bruno Mars updates, Lady Gaga news, Billboard records, global pop music stories, and the biggest entertainment headlines, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because in the streaming era, the numbers never stop moving. And the next record could happen sooner than anyone expects. But the story does not end at 3.9 billion streams. In fact, that number may only be another chapter in a much bigger streaming battle. The real excitement begins when we look beyond the milestone itself and examine what these numbers could mean for the future of Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, and the songs competing for dominance on Spotify. Because reaching 3.9 billion streams is already extraordinary. Reaching it faster than some of the biggest songs in modern music history is something else entirely. Die with a Smile has demonstrated a level of streaming momentum that few collaborations can match. Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga created a song that managed to connect with multiple generations of listeners, and that broad appeal has become one of the most important factors behind its continued performance. Think about the difference between a song that becomes popular for a few weeks and a song that becomes part of people's daily listening habits. The first one creates a moment. The second one creates a legacy. And Die with a Smile is increasingly looking like the second type. The song has continued to attract listeners across different markets, different age groups, and different musical communities. Its emotional character gives it replay value, while the star power of Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga keeps the track visible across social media, playlists, entertainment coverage, and fan communities. That combination is extremely difficult to manufacture. A major artist can release a song and receive enormous attention on day one, but attention is not the same thing as longevity. Streaming history is filled with songs that exploded instantly and then dramatically slowed down. The biggest records are different. They keep finding new listeners. They keep being shared. They keep returning to people's personal rotations. And most importantly, they continue generating streams when the initial hype is gone. That is why this particular ranking is so interesting. Starboy had years to build its massive streaming total. Blinding Lights became one of the most recognizable songs of the decade, as it was dominated the global pop landscape. Birds of a Feather became one of Billie Eilish's most important streaming successes. Yet Die with a Smile has reached the same 3.9 billion stream territory at an even faster pace. That tells us something about the acceleration of modern streaming. Music consumption is no longer limited by geography. A song released in the United States can immediately become popular in Asia, Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and Africa. There is no waiting for a physical release. There is no waiting for a radio station to add the song. There is no waiting for an album to arrive in a particular market. A listener can discover a song today, save it, share it, add it to a playlist, and play it again within seconds. That global accessibility is one of the biggest reasons streaming records are moving faster than ever. And Bruno Mars understands that environment better than almost anyone. His music has always had an international quality. His songs can feel nostalgic while remaining modern. They can appeal to pop audiences while carrying strong influences from soul, funk, R&B, and classic American songwriting. Lady Gaga brings a similarly broad musical identity. Her ability to move between mainstream pop, dramatic ballads, jazz, film music, and performance art has created a fan base that extends far beyond a single genre. So when these two artists meet on the same record, the potential audience becomes enormous. And the Spotify numbers are reflecting that. There is also a psychological reason why songs like Die with a Smile can generate such powerful replay behavior. Listeners do not always stream a song because they want something new. Sometimes they stream a song because they want to feel something familiar. A great melody can become attached to memories. A vocal performance can remind someone of a particular period in their life. A lyric can suddenly feel different depending on what the listener is experiencing. That emotional connection is incredibly powerful. And when millions of people develop that relationship with the same song, the streaming numbers can become enormous. This is why Spotify milestones are more than simple statistics. Behind every billion streams are billions of individual listening decisions. Someone listening while driving, someone listening while working, someone playing music at home, someone discovering the song through a playlist, someone watching a live performance and immediately searching for the track, someone hearing it for the first time because a friend recommended it. All of those individual moments eventually become one giant number. And that number now stands at approximately 3.9 billion for Die with a Smile. But here is where the competition becomes even more fascinating. The songs behind it are not standing still. Birds of a Feather continues to attract listeners, as it remains one of the most recognizable Harry Styles songs. Blinding Lights continues to dominate streaming history. Starboy remains a massive catalog hit. That means the ranking is not simply a snapshot of the past. It is a moving race, and the distance between these songs can change every single day. One song can gain momentum because of a viral trend. Another can experience a resurgence after a concert performance. Another can suddenly return to the charts because of a movie, television show, social media trend, or a major cultural moment. This is why streaming history is constantly being rewritten. And it creates another important question. How high can Die with a Smile eventually go? 4 billion streams is now the obvious next psychological milestone. Once a song crosses 4 billion, it enters an even more exclusive streaming category. But getting there is not guaranteed simply because a song has reached 3.9 billion. The rate of daily streams matters. Momentum matters. Audience retention matters. And the ability to continue attracting new listeners matters. This is where the future of Die with a Smile becomes particularly interesting. The song already has a huge advantage: recognition. People know Bruno Mars. People know Lady Gaga. And millions of listeners already have an emotional connection to the song. That gives the track a strong foundation for long-term streaming. But the music industry is unpredictable. New songs arrive every week. New artists become viral. Streaming algorithms change. Listener habits evolve. And sometimes a completely unexpected song becomes the next global phenomenon. That uncertainty is exactly what makes the Spotify streaming race so exciting. One thing, however, is becoming increasingly clear. The era of billion stream songs is no longer limited to a handful of historic records. The biggest global artists are now producing songs capable of reaching billions at extraordinary speed. And the gap between old records and new records is shrinking. This is especially significant for Bruno Mars. His career has already survived multiple eras of music consumption. He has experienced the transition from digital downloads to streaming dominance. He has watched music discovery move from radio and television toward social media and algorithm-driven playlists. Yet his songs continue to perform. That consistency is rare. Many artists experience enormous success during one era and struggle to reproduce it when the industry changes. Bruno Mars has repeatedly shown the ability to remain relevant. And Die with a Smile adds another major streaming chapter to that story. For Lady Gaga, the record also demonstrates the enduring strength of her global audience. Her career has been defined by reinvention. Different albums, different visual eras, different musical directions, different performances, but the audience remains. That audience now exists in a world where streaming can preserve and amplify an artist's catalog indefinitely. A fan discovering Lady Gaga today can immediately move backward through her entire musical history. The same is true for Bruno Mars, and that creates an interesting cycle. A new hit can introduce younger listeners to an artist's older songs. Those older songs generate additional streams. The artist's catalog becomes stronger. Then the next release arrives and introduces another generation. This is one reason why catalog music has become so powerful on Spotify. A massive new hit does not exist alone. It can increase interest in everything around it. Die with a Smile can bring new listeners into Bruno Mars' catalog. It can also bring listeners deeper into Lady Gaga's catalog. And once those listeners discover older songs, the streaming numbers can continue growing across multiple tracks. That is the long-term impact of a global collaboration. It does not necessarily stop with one song. It can create an entire ecosystem of discovery. And that is why this 3.9 billion stream milestone deserves attention. It represents not only the success of one record, but also the power of two major global artists combining their audiences. Now imagine what happens if the song continues to maintain strong daily streaming numbers for years. The 3.9 billion figure could eventually look like just another step. For billion could arrive, then perhaps another milestone. And eventually, Die with a Smile could become one of the defining Spotify songs of its generation. Of course, nobody can guarantee exactly where the song will finish. Streaming trends change. Listener behavior changes. New records appear. But the current achievement already places the song in extraordinary company. And when we compare the speed of the 5 songs on this list, the story becomes even clearer. The gap between Starboy and Die with a Smile represents years of difference. The gap between Blinding Lights and Die with a Smile represents hundreds of days. Even the difference between Birds of a Feather and Die with a Smile represents months of additional time. That is why being number 1 on a speed-based ranking matters. It is not simply about having a huge total. It is about reaching that total faster than the competition. And in today's music industry, speed has become one of the clearest signs of cultural momentum. The next time you see a song trending on Spotify, remember that the early numbers are only the beginning. The true test comes later. Can the song survive? Can it remain relevant? Can it continue attracting listeners? Can it become part of the permanent global soundtrack? Some songs disappear. Others become classics. And the biggest streaming records are often created by songs that manage to do something extremely difficult: remain relevant long after their initial release. That is the challenge waiting for Die with a Smile. For now, Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga have every reason to celebrate. Their collaboration has crossed another enormous streaming milestone, and its pace has placed it ahead of several songs that have already become legendary in Spotify history. But the race is still moving. The numbers will continue changing, and every new stream brings the song one step closer to its next major milestone. So the real story is no longer whether Die with a Smile can reach 3.9 billion. It already has. The real story is what comes next. For billion, another Spotify record, a new streaming benchmark for Bruno Mars, a new milestone for Lady Gaga, or perhaps an even bigger surprise from another global hit. That is the beauty of the streaming era. The record book